What's good, y'all? It's your boy BioSpider 3.0, keeping the action going with the Mafex number 037, Revenge of the Sith, Episode 3, Darth Vader figure. And before we get into the review, I want to say a huge congrats to the prodigious Spider Star on winning the giveaway. Congrats, bro. I really hope you enjoy the figure. We got it shipped out this morning, so it should get to you soon. But yeah, without all that out of the way, I'm taking a look at the Episode 3 Vader. This is the Vader that I really wanted, not the one that I got, the 006, which is why I did the giveaway. I got this guy back around December, somewhere close to Christmas, at Frank & Sons, actually, of all places. My original goal was to sell the 006 or trade it at Frank & Sons in hopes of finding this guy. Hopefully I could do like a fair trade that way, but decided to do the giveaway instead, and so I was able to find it unexpectedly at Frank & Sons, so I decided I had to go for it. So one thing I wanted to add as an element to reviews going forward now, I'm gonna scoot Vader aside, is the clean figurine scale. I'm gonna have a better printed version of this soon, but I want to make sure that we address all of these elements you see down here going forward in all of the reviews, just so you guys get the most out of these reviews. I can say, you know, the figure is good or bad, you know, all day, but is it truly worth your money? I want to make sure I can like really recommend the figure at the end of the day. So there are 7 things to look at. We have aesthetic, accuracy, articulation, accessories, posability, capability. You see what I did there? That's for just, you know, obviously only the figures that have capes. We'll be taking a look at just how good the cape is, what type of material used for the cape, how posable it is, and then also the price point. That's going to be like one of the big determining factors. And each of those, you know, items will be rated out of 10. So I'm going to give them a rating as we go through the review. And at the end, I'll do a total out of 70. So that way I will give my final score and let you know if it's truly worth the money. All right. Let's see. What else did I want to say? Oh yeah, okay, so I did make a mistake when I was talking about in the giveaway, when I was saying that the seller wasn't able to refund me for the 006 Vader. I checked eBay today, and actually they were able to refund me. I paid a total of $75.91 for that 006 Vader, and it did in fact get refunded to me. I just didn't know, so maybe it happened later, you know, after we had that conversation. But yeah, my bad for putting out any misinformation about the seller. I did in fact get fully refunded for that Vader figure, so big shout outs to them for that. Really cool. I guess they just weren't able to hook me up with this particular Vader. You know, they just didn't have this particular version, which is the one I was going for. So but yeah, you know, no worries, since I found it at Frank & Sons. Very glad to have picked it up. Let's see. So what do I want to say first? Oh yeah, there will be more giveaways, so make sure you guys are subscribed. Those of you watching, be sure to subscribe. Make sure you're publicly subscribed, so that when we do the next giveaway, whenever that will be, you know, I'm able to see your subscription, and then you will have a much better chance of winning whatever figure we decide to give away. Now, there are a good few reviews out there on this guy. Probably my favorite out there is actually a comparison video with this uploaded by RevanJJ on YouTube, and it's a review and comparison video where he compares this figure with the Rogue One Mafex Vader and the 006 Vader that I just did the giveaway on, which I believe is based on either New Hope or Return of the Jedi. So it's one of those. The reason I went specifically for the Episode 3 Vader is because it has a different look from pretty much all the other Vaders, you know, in the line and that we've seen in the movies, in that this one has a darker color scheme for the chest armor, which I really like. The silver that usually, you know, lays up here on his chest is a lot darker, specifically in the Episode 3 version when he, first becomes Vader. And I like that particular look. I just think it looks fresh, and it's kind of like a prime Vader look. It reminds me a lot of like the older Star Wars games, like what's that game? The Force Unleashed and Battlefront. Those older Star Wars games. I had like a few of those, and seeing Vader, show up and like always having like the kind of like really dark color scheme, I really like that this figure in particular was able to capture that look from Episode 3. So that's why I went specifically for this look. I wanted this to be like a young, prime Vader that had a very distinct look. And yeah, so as like my first like real 6-inch Vader figure, yeah, I'm really glad that this is the look that he has. So let's see, first thing we shall look at and get rated on the scale here is the aesthetics. So how aesthetic and accuracy kind of go hand in hand, but for the scale I kind of separated them just so that we can get like a better sense of just how accurate is it to the source material, because the aesthetic, it can look really good at face value, but is it actually capturing the details of what it's based on? So starting with just purely the aesthetic, like how good does the figure look on hand, I would say it looks really, really good. All the paint seems to be very clean. I don't see any slop as far as the paint work goes. Very, very clean. Got the silver for the buckles and everything. The chest box looks really good. No paint bleeding as far as I can tell. Upon closer inspection, yeah, everything seems to be pretty good, pretty clean. This is what we would expect from Mafex. So, but yeah, everything looks pretty clean as far as the aesthetics go. I don't see any real issues. And here's taking a look at the back. I'm gonna lift the cape up just so you can see the back side of him, and that's how it looks. All right. Spinning him back around here. So there's like a quick 360 of Vader, and we'll get a better look later on in the review. I've got my display stand charging right now, so we'll get Vader on the turntable a little bit later in the review. Let my display stand get a little bit more juice. But yeah, there he is again. All right, so aesthetics, I'm gonna go ahead and give him a rating out of 10. I'm gonna say for the overall aesthetic, we will give him, honestly, I'm gonna give it a 10 out of 10. I don't see any issues, so I'm gonna give him an A+ for the aesthetic section. All right, so I'm just filling that on the scale. All right, next we have accuracy. So I have a movie image pulled up from Episode 3, and we only saw Vader very briefly in Episode 3, at the end of the movie, right, when Anakin is first becoming Darth Vader, gets put into the suit, which looked like a very painful process, but nonetheless, here is our movie image to reference. So there's like the clearest picture I could find of Vader when he's kind of coming up on the operating table, and you've got Darth Sidious looking at him on the side, of course. But yeah, I think that's like the clearest picture that we can pretty much find on the internet of this guy. And looking at this, I would say the figure matches what we see here pretty well. The shape of the helmet looks really good. I would say really accurate. It seems like in Episode 3, his helmet actually tapers a little bit more. It seems a little bit more narrow compared to like later episodes, like Episode 4, 5, and 6. So yeah, I would say like his helmet is probably the smallest here in Episode 3. And but yeah, as far as like the overall colors on his suit seem to be pretty accurate to the figure. Pulling the figure back in. So like here's Vader, and obviously in this picture he's being lit up by the light. He's got a light shining on him, so the black is gonna seem a little more, I guess, vibrant in the picture compared to the figure. But as far as like the overall coloring, it seems to be pretty accurate. Now, a lot of people have complained that this Vader is a little bit skinny, like the figure. The arms are kind of skinny, and I guess they think like because of that he doesn't look as imposing or intimidating. I still think he looks really good, and if you look at this photo here, you can even tell it's pretty accurate to what was depicted in the movie. Like, he's pretty skinny. This is like right after he got burnt, by the lava down there, on the cliff. So he's a lot of his flesh kind of got burnt off. So he's got like all these cybernetic parts, for like his arms, and like a lot of his body has become almost like robotic. So he shouldn't be that big, even in this suit and everything. I'm not sure who the actor was that was in this suit for episode 3. It may have been Hayden Christensen, but could have been someone else. Later on in like episodes 4 through 6, Sebastian Stan is the guy that is in the Darth Vader suit, and he's a pretty big guy. So obviously he's gonna look a little bigger in his suit. But for episode 3, I think this actually looks pretty appropriate. I mean, you can see right here, bringing the figure back in. I mean, yeah, I guess the arms do look kind of skinny, but at the same time, it looks, accurate to the source material, from episode 3. So I think it actually looks fine, and he still looks, plenty intimidating. So there is that. All right. So as far as movie accuracy goes, I'm gonna give him a. I mean, it's kind of unfair because we only get to see about half his body in this picture, but I mean, based on what was in the movie, I would say Mafex pretty much nailed it. So I'm gonna give accuracy a 10 as well on the clean figurine scale. So far we are 2 for 2, or 20 for 20 on the first 2 elements of review. So Vader's doing really good so far. Let's see if he keeps it up as we move into some slightly more pressing, more in-depth analyzation. This is where we have to see if he truly passes the test of a great figure. So I'm put him back in. And let's see here. I will mention also that he does have a pretty decent, well, that's pretty zoomed in. Let me zoom out a bit. He has a pretty decent weight to him too. He's probably like a little bit heavier than he looks. But yeah, I like that. It makes it feel like he's a very high quality figure. Got a lot of sturdiness to him. And I think someone mentioned in one of the reviews I watched that he might have die cast in his feet. I'm not sure how true that is. It's kind of hard for me to tell just from looking on the outside, but he does feel, significantly kind of heavy. So that could be true. That might be where most of his weight is actually coming from. But let's see, before we get into play and display or articulation, we will take a look at his accessories. I did get him loose, so I don't have the packaging to show you, but you can just Google Mafex number 037 Darth Vader, and it should come up. You should be able to find images of the packaging. From what I remember, it wasn't a whole lot. Typical Mafex box is going to show you a promo images of the figure. No real description or anything, but it's always a nice box. Mafex, I'm a fan of the Mafex packaging, nice and simple. But yeah, getting into accessories. Thankfully, I did get all of the accessories as far as I know that came with him. Got this little bag here that holds them all. So we have, first up, we have an assortment of hands. So make sure I get them all organized here. Okay. So he comes with a pair of kind of pointer finger hands like this. They look pretty good. Very well painted. Seems to match the matte blackness of the majority of his costume, which is really, really good. So we've got these kind of pointer finger hands, like he's pointing at somebody, maybe stern, or doing something with his index fingers. So that seems to look pretty good, nicely detailed, sculpted very well. The fingers and everything in the gloves look good. So we get 2 of those. We get 2 fist hands. So I'll just show one. We do get 2 fists, in case we want him clenching his fist like he's angry, because he's Darth Vader. But yeah, there is the fist, one of his fist hands. So we get 2 of those. We get, let's see, are these the same type of hand? Yeah, as far as I can tell, these are the same. We get a pair of kind of slightly like semi-relaxed hands. He's kind of curling his fingers in on this one, so maybe he has them down by his side, or maybe he's getting ready to do a force using gesture or something. So we've got a pair of hands that look like this. He's starting to curl the fingers in like that. We get 2 of those, and then we get, let's see, this looks like another lightsaber holding hand. I've got one of the saber holding hands already on him. As you saw, he's holding his lightsaber right now, but this appears to be one for his other side in case you want to switch hands. But yeah, I'm pretty sure he's right-handed. This is probably so that he can dual wield in case you want, both hands going around the hilt. Then you can probably grip it with both, have like one hand underneath. And yeah, in case you want to do a two-handed type of saber swing, you get the second one under there. And then he comes with kind of like open palm hands, maybe like a force push or something like that, force pushing hand. But this looks pretty good. Matte black, again, very good sculpt. Within, the fingers are kind of like close together, but you can tell he's clearly trying to do like a gesture, or these could just be like regular relaxed hands that he has like down by his side like that. So very, very cool. And then we have this kind of double pair of like fists that are kind of crossed over each other. So this is specifically so that you can get him to do a cross arm pose. D Amazing has a review on this guy, on YouTube, and I'll have the link for it in the description. But he uses this and shows it off. It's actually really cool. Like once you get both of his arms, slotted into these, you can see they have like little pegs on the end. He's able to do like a really good cross arm pose. I think he can technically do it, without this. Like if you just put on the fist hands and try to cross his arms, I'm pretty sure he can still pull this off. But I guess for it to look a little better, they threw in this kind of, togetherness with the gloves, so that you can get that done if you want him posed like so. So that's really cool. That's a cool feature that, Mafex does. That's something that I'm not even sure SH Figure Arts would have done. And they've made quite a few Vader figures. Some that I will be getting and reviewing later on the channel, so stay tuned for that. Then there is also this kind of pretty much open palm hand, kind of like, I guess like he's reaching out to grab something. Seems like his fingers are curling in a little bit, but they're also splayed out. So it's like, this could be a force choking hand or something like that, Could be trying to use the force to choke. I believe I actually have the other hand, the other one of these actually on him on the figure right now. So yeah, a little force choking hand or something like that, force manipulation hand. And then last but not least, we get an alternate head, which is supposed to be the burnt Anakin face. Now this doesn't strike a lot of resemblance to Hayden Christensen. I've heard RevanJJ say in his comparison video that this actually looks more like Sebastian Stan, like a younger Sebastian Stan. And it seems like they just basically reused this head sculpt from their 006 Vader, which had the older Sebastian Stan looking head. Which makes me think it's probably based off of Return of the Jedi, because why else would they throw that in there? He didn't really show his head in episode 4. So yeah, pretty sure that 006 Vader is based on episode 6, but I could be wrong. But there's plenty of reviews out there in case you want to verify that. But yeah, this head sculpt looks really, really good. I like it. You can see color of the eyes. You can see he's got like the Sith eyes. It's like a light yellow. I'm bringing that back. There you go. So you can see like the pupils are black, and then he's got like the light kind of yellowish green color outlining the outside part of his iris, which looks really cool. Still got like the evil Sith eyes, and then he's got like all this burnt charred up skin on the side of his face. I mean, this side just looks gnarly. I mean, look at his ear, and oh man, his cheek just really looks like he went through it. His flesh just really got burnt off on the side there. There's all this like kind of bloody looking color right there, and similar on this side, slightly different burn pattern, but still very bad. My boy got burnt real bad by Obi-Wan, because Obi-Wan had the high ground. All right, and then at the top we have some more of that scarring kind of reaching over from the back. The back looks really crazy too. A lot of like that charring, really nice paintwork. Look at that detail. Super nice, and it seems to be raised in some areas, so like a lot of that scarring, very realistic. How like your skin kind of raises when you get a scar. So he's got like a lot of that on the back of the head, and and it kind of just slowly creeps up to the top over there, and you can see like almost looks like a big gash, like a laceration going at the top of his head there. Oh man, that's gnarly. But yeah, he gets that alternate head, and there is the bottom of it, I guess. So it's got a space for you to key it into his head when you take off the the Vader helmet. I know that in D Amazing's review, he said that he was kind of confused because he tried to get this head on the figure, and he said it wasn't working, and so he thought that this head was actually for, I think, the 006 Vader, so that you could switch it out. But as far as I know, that's not the case, and RevanJJ was actually able to, I think, get this head onto his figure, or at least he mentioned that you could do it in the review. So yeah, as far as I know, this actually is meant to go on this particular figure, and I don't think Mafex would have just randomly thrown this in so that you could put it on the other Vader. I think they're pretty what's the word I'm looking for? Not decisive, but they're pretty intentional. Yeah, that's the word. They're pretty intentional when it comes to like the accessories. So I don't think they would have you have to buy a whole nother Vader figure just so you could put this head on it. So yeah, I just wanted to mention that. But yeah, really cool alternate head sculpt. So I think that's plenty of accessories. I would say like maybe like a force effect or something like that would have been cool, but I don't think it's absolutely necessary. So for accessories, it would have been cool to see, so I'm just gonna say for accessories we'll give him a 9 out of 10. I think that's plenty of hands. The alternate head is fantastic, so I would say he deserves a solid 9 out of 10 in the accessory section. So here we have it on the clean figurine scale. So yeah, he's doing pretty good so far. He's acing all these categories. Now we're going to look at articulation and posability, or play and display. Now I separated articulation and posability. Again, they're kind of similar, same way as like aesthetic and accuracy, but I wanted to make it separate because I feel like even if the figure can articulate well, that doesn't necessarily always mean that it can hit the greatest poses and actually like keep them. So we're gonna run through the articulation first, and then we will see just what kind of cool poses we can get him in and actually like get him to stay in without him falling over, taking all that into account. So for play and display, we'll start off with the head as we always do. By the way, the helmet actually comes in two parts. So this top part actually rotates with the helmet, and you can actually lift it up, and it comes off pretty easy. Kind of wish that it would like snap on to the rest of the helmet like a little bit tighter, but it doesn't really snap. It kind of just has like a loose fit. It kind of just rotates. I mean, it kind of like you can get it to like get a snug fit, but it's pretty easy to just like move it around and knock it off. So maybe something would have been like a little better to get this to like snap on ideally, but it's not bad. So it comes off in two pieces, so you can lift this up and then you can see, you know, all the circuitry at the top of his helmet there, from the top of the head. Again, really nice detail in there. Very well painted. See all those like little, you know, buttons and whistles and things at the top of his head. Looks really cool, like the top of like a android or something. But yeah, really nice sculpt on the helmet too. You see that, like, that looks like, you know, prime Vader, classic Vader right there. But yeah, so putting this back on, and then if you turn it from the back, you can actually see, you know, the burnt Anakin head in the back, because the helmet doesn't go, you know, all the way around from the front. And that's how it was in the movie. You know, it's in like separate pieces, and you know, they put the top piece on last, and we saw this part, you know, come down on his face first, and then, you know, the top part of the helmet kind of was like coming down, and then it like landed on his face or something like that, you know, or it might have been the reverse of that, but either way, it was in two pieces. Yeah, and then you can see like the back right here, this collar piece that kind of goes around the back. You can see all these like painted silver like studs and everything. I mean, it's just crazy, man. A lot of like really cool detail and paint work that went into this guy. But yeah, as far as the head articulation goes, I'm gonna put this back on his head. That there. Let's see, he's able to look up pretty far. The neck and the head kind of move together in tandem, so if you push all the way up, you can get him looking up really high. I like that. That looks really good. Going down, you can look about, seems like it doesn't really want to go down actually. Yeah, it kind of just has him looking straight on, so that's a little unfortunate. I would have been able to like him, to see him look down a little more. But I mean, then again, you know, Vader, at least in the movies, I don't think he looks down all that often. You know, he's usually looking dead on at you, so unless somebody's like way shorter than him. But yeah, not a lot of looking down going on. Let's see, side to side. I'm just gonna take this piece off right now because it'll be easier to articulate. Let's see, he can turn to this side about that much before it starts to resist. Turn that way about that much before it begins to resist. So maybe not a 360 motion. I think it's just the way the neck is sculpted. It's kind of a thick sculpt, and as you turn it, it runs into the collar, so you start to get a lot of resistance. So I definitely don't want to break it, but yeah, you can get a pretty decent side to side. Yeah, it doesn't go down a lot. As far as the arms, oh, one thing to quickly mention, the right shoulder pad actually came off on me when I was, shortly after I picked him up, actually when I got home, I was posing him around a little bit. The right shoulder pad came off, but it was an easy fix, no biggie. It actually has like a little piece that comes out from the shoulder, and it looks like something that you can key the shoulder pad into, but it wouldn't stay on its own. So I just used a little bit of super glue, a little bit of Gorilla Glue, just put that on just before the review. So like, yeah, I like literally just glued this back on, and it's yeah, it seems to be, you know, perfectly in shape now. So it's got about like the same stiffness as the other side. So yeah, very easy fix. In case that pops off on you, just get a little bit of Gorilla Glue and, you know, glue it back to that little piece that comes out beneath the shoulder, or I guess above the shoulder, I should say. For the arm, you can lift it up. Let's see, so this is the side with the good shoulder pad. So you can lift the arm up about that high, pushing the shoulder pad up. And, you know, doesn't seem like the shoulder pad's gonna come off or anything. So I think that's pretty good. Good range. Seems to be, yeah, a little better than 90 degrees, or maybe at least a perfect 90. And then if you like really push it, you can get it past that. So that's good. Back down by the sides. Let's see, as far as rotation, I'm thinking he's not going to be able to do full 360 just because of the shoulder pad. And I definitely don't want to like rip it off, but he can go about that far back before it hits the shoulder pad. So I think that's pretty good. Coming forward, he can, you know, come straight up. You can lift the arms straight and out about, ooh. Yeah, he does disassemble, by the way. So he does kind of have like, I think, 3 separate connection parts. You can see there's like the internal workings of the figure. I'm gonna leave that part right there. But yeah, He does have like a ball peg system down here that connects, you know, from the chest to the torso, and you can see it inside there. It's actually now you can see inside there you have like that little space for it to get keyed into. So yeah, it pops into there very easily. I have actually dropped this guy several times, and I was afraid that, you know, he was gonna break before I did the review, but you know, luckily everything turned out all right. Now this arm that has like the missing shoulder pad actually did pop out on me once, and I got scared because I thought I broke it, but I was able to you know, basically snap it back in. So like the bicep, there is a peg that sticks out from the shoulder that connects to the bicep joint in here. So like from here down, you know, the arm came completely off, but I was able to, it was a little tricky, but I was able to finally, like, you know, slip it in there and get it to connect again. So yeah, no biggie there, thankfully. Yeah, back down by his sides, we have a bicep swivel in there, pretty strong. Bicep swivel looks really good. Double jointed elbows that get him a really good bend, so you can pretty much all the way touches like the top of his shoulder, way better than 90 degrees, so that's nice. Coming back out for the hands, we have, I think they're on a small ball peg, so you can rotate 360, hinge in and out horizontally, and not so much up and down, not really vertically, more of the horizontal motion for these. But yeah, you get a 360 spin at the wrist. For the torso articulation, again, he's kind of in 3 parts, so there is, I think, another part connecting him down here, you know, where just before like the belt, so the chest to the lower waist. So let's see, he's able to bend forward. Ooh, yeah, that top piece wants to come off. So yeah, maybe don't bend him so much from like where the chest armor is at. Bend him a little bit lower, down by like the abs. And if you do that, he gets a slight bend. It's like very, very small, crunching forward. Not a whole lot of range going forward there. Obviously, if you bend him lower, like at the actual waist, like that, and try to keep the legs straight, you can get about that much bend. And then going backwards, you should be able to get about, kind of moving all these joints, you know, together, this kind of 3 joint system, or this 3 section system, I should say. And it keeps popping out from that top piece. Gonna push him back in. All right, there we go. He gets only a little bit going back, so I mean, it's not the best range, definitely not. But again, this is Darth Vader, so I don't expect him to be doing like, you know, gymnastics or anything. But yeah, maybe a little bit better of a system in the torso would have helped to get him bending forward and backwards a little bit better. As far as rotation, you can twist him at the waist, side to side. It's a little stiff, so be careful. Pretty tight, but you can get him turning to each side pretty decently, like that. And yeah, again, make sure you rotate from this point down here, just above the belt, where the torso meets the waist. So that is the torso. Let's see, does he get any leaning? That ball peg in there, very, very slight leaning to each side. I mean, if you move this top part and get it keyed in again, you can kind of lean him, but yeah, he doesn't really get much lean side to side. So yeah, I don't know, maybe a different type of joint system in there would have been a little bit better. He wiggles around a little bit with that, you know, inner ball peg, so I guess that's all right. Can lift this up. Let's see, for the arms, I forgot to mention, he is on a hinge, like a ball and hinge. So as far as swinging forward and back, again, he's got these shoulder pads kind of in the way, but you can maneuver it a little bit, and it's a pretty like soft, pliable type of plastic for the shoulder pads, so you can kind of push it, and he's able to get about that far back with the arm. You can come pretty far forward. Can kind of cross his arms, you know, across the body like that. I mean, keeping his arms straight, and this part keeps on coming off, bruh. Yeah, this part is like, you can key it in and it's snug, but it does like kind of pop out easily depending on where you rotate it. So just be aware of that. But yeah, as far as like keeping the arm straight and then trying to cross it, it pretty much just goes like straight out. So yeah, you know, regular like ball joint and hinge system. So you only get about that much range, but that's not too bad. And then for the legs, moving on to the legs. Try not to knock over my phone here. Let's see. So he does have this row part that kind of hangs down, and it is made out of a plastic instead of a cloth. So I know some people have like customized that because they prefer to have like cloth kind of for the part draping down by his legs. But I think this is all right for this figure. Having it in a plastic form, nothing too bad. Doesn't hinder too much articulation. So you can lift the leg up. Move his arm. You can kick the leg up to about, ooh, popped off on me. So let me pop that back in real quick. Yeah, he is kind of a, one of those figures that does kind of pop on you. Ooh, uh-oh, hold on, what happened? What's going on here? Uh-oh, hold on. Can I even get that back in there? Uh-oh, hold on, y'all. Oh, crap. All right, hold up. Experiencing some quick technical difficulties. Let's see if I can get his leg back in there. I don't know how to get that ball peg back down. Uh-oh, okay. Oh man. I don't know if I can get his leg back in. Probably shouldn't have pushed it that far up. Oh crap, okay. Come on, Vader. Get that leg back in there. Oh man. Okay, well, this leg might be off for the rest of the review. I'll have to figure out how to fix that later. So we got a one leg Vader right now, but using this other leg, I'm not gonna lift it up so far this time. I'm gonna lift it to about right there. He gets like just shy of a 90. I think if you push it a little more, you can probably achieve a 90, but I'm afraid of the other leg, this leg popping off too, so definitely don't want that to happen. But yeah, you can get about that far kicking up. As far as going backwards, kind of move this plastic robe out the way, and you can get the leg kind of going back about that far. Okay, so not too bad. Straighten that out. He does have a, let's see, double bend at the knee. So if you really get that knee crunching all the way back, you can go about that far, which is pretty good, I would say, especially for Vader. Coming up to almost the lower back, at least to his butt. And then for the foot, we are on a hinge, so you can hinge the foot down that far, hinge up that far, and he does have the toe joint. So he gets toe articulation. It only lets him go up slightly and down slightly. So yeah, not a whole lot of range out of that toe joint, but it is there. So you do have that. You have some swivel on that ball joint, so the foot can swivel side to side, kind of like a disc joint, and then a little bit of ankle rocker or pivot in there as well. So you get some swivel onto that heel or ankle. So yeah. Man, I really need to get his leg back in there. That's crazy.